MD number 68.5 Inner Thoughts 01, Dragon. Everyone must leave the delusion that 01 is in the temple and gives orders. Stop participating in sinful events. Review the merits made before 2016. And then you will be saved at the 5th of January 2025. Then will everyone have any merit left? In addition to participating in the merit making of offering rice to the Buddha or the activities of the rice offering day of the Buddha every first week of the month, which can still be confirmed by the dragon hiding in the body that it is pure merit. Most importantly, everyone must not be in delusion, which is a tool of the devil. The third family of defilements called delusion, especially being deceived by news and information from the temple to think or believe that it comes from 01 or making them believe that 01 is in the temple and still gives orders. And everyone who joins the big merit-making activities that have been newly announced are all doing so to offer merit to 01. These are the most serious delusions that make everyone immediately blind. Because in reality, 01 has not been in the temple since the 2nd of February 2019 and has no authority to give orders. Since the middle of 2018, it has been like this until today. 01 has not received closure of the case from 02 even though there was only a 180-day opportunity between October 2023 and April 2024. However, 02 did not do it with the intention of not letting 01 escape the case and meet everyone again for the rest of his life. Because he was afraid that when 01 was released, they would chase 02 out of the temple and make him live somewhere else because they accused 02 of playing the stock market, as 02 had said these words to the host himself in March 2023. This made 01 have no chance to come back and meet his children, whether outside or inside the temple. Because as long as he was still charged with evading the arrest warrant, anyone who provided a place to stay for 01 or contacted him would also be guilty. The temple was afraid that 01's loved ones would not believe him. And if anyone received information from Mangkorn Sangkai that Kiangtawan had been telling them all along, they might believe that 01 was not really in the temple. And any merit making related to 01 that the temple had recently announced to invite people to do would not receive the desired amount of donations. Therefore, there is a trick that must be made to believable. In this world, there is AI that can create a twin of a person that you want to imitate, living and having the same face and voice as the real person in every way. This is done through a video with a program that allows them to talk and see each other's faces through the screen. Therefore, it is not strange that senior monks in the temple would believe completely that 01 was really in the temple and had talked to 01. And because of the charges that have not been dropped because 02 did not close the case, 01 will not be able to come out and show his identity to anyone for real. But he will be able to make sounds and be seen talking through the screen. If that happens, it can be explained that there was a process of creating 01's twin with an AI program to make it seem like 01 was really in the temple. And from the facial expressions of Abbot Mu and 02, along with 06's acting, who often announces or refers to it in temple committee meetings when presenting any project. 06's favorite words are, Luang told me to do it, Luang told me to tell you to do it, etc. In terms of ordinary people, they would claim that Luang told him to do it, or Luang approved, etc., but there is no truth in Luang 01's true identity. Evaluating the situation up to now, it is almost certain that the majority of the 01 group who have been following and accumulating sins with various projects of 06 for many years like this, have almost no merit left. Except for those who still join the rice offering ceremony to worship the Buddha every first Sunday of the month. The black sinful star at the center of everyone's body will be purified and replaced with a white merit star once. The enemy of humans is the devil, and the devil will always eliminate, oppress, and cause suffering to humans in order to make them slaves to the law of karma that they have committed for a long time. When humans accumulate a lot of evil deeds, frequently break the 5 precepts, gather together in large numbers, and lack enough merit, they will have the same karma force, attracting the results of karma to be sent periodically throughout the 365-day period of each year. Therefore, disasters such as water, wind, and fire occur, as seen in the news that everyone has been continuously informed about. But if anyone has noticed, especially the children of O1 who have accumulated merit, as O1 invited during the time when O1 was still teaching at the Dream in Dream Wittaya kindergarten by himself. This group of children will have the knowledge that O1 said that those disasters are the plans of the demon side. And with Dhammakaya knowledge, if the team that practices Dhamma in detail still and firmly reaches the Dhammakaya all the time, they will be able to combine the power of merit and rely on the power of the great group of merit sent to the center of O1's body. It will create enormous brightness until they can see the plan of the demon side that is pitch black and dark, knowing where, when and where the demon will create a plan of what disasters and will be able to solve it by destroying it before that plan is opened. Therefore, since 2552 onwards, O1 has taught in schools about the reason why there must be an invitation to ordain all over Thailand. For the power of merit from ordaining a large number of monks, tens of thousands or more, and gathering together at the Dhammakaya Sitya Dharma field, the power of merit will be enormous, enough to send out a level of brightness that will make the demon side afraid and retreat, not daring to create any disaster plans for humans. And for the subtle reason that the merit side, led by Luang Pu Dhammajayo, is the leader in suppressing it, able to invite to make merit that gives a great merit power to the level that the devil side must retreat. The predictions from any astrologers that predicted any disasters in each past year have mostly not happened. It turned out that the predictions were wrong or inaccurate, but it is an inaccuracy that no one wants to be accurate. However, almost no one knows that behind the bad predictions that did not happen as predicted is the practice of Dhammakaya with the merit of the group of people at Dhammakaya temple, with O1 as the leader who practiced Dhammakaya to defeat devil and correct the devil side's plan all the time. Moreover, O1's group followed to make merit every merit that O1 announced to invite to do during the period of 2009 to 2016 without stopping, as O1 often said during that period. Until O1 said, "If you will go with me, no matter what I say, we must follow." This is a statement that is more than a proclamation. Whoever wants to reach the highest level of Dharma must strictly follow O1's words. What happened was that O1 was able to handle all the evil plans of the demon side during those 7 years comfortably, until the demon saw O1's success on O1's birthday in 2559. It was a point where he could not accept it anymore. Therefore, he struggled with his last breath, dedicating his power to the demon side to persecute O1 so that he could not come out to meet anyone and could not give orders as usual. The demon side's tool that was alive at that time was O6. Then the legend of persecution of O1 through the criminal trial process occurred more violently, continuously pressuring him to the utmost. But he was defeated by the power of merit of his pure-hearted children who came together to guard the temple to protect O1 calmly and with their hearts still at the 7th base of their body. This caused those who thought evil of O1 at that time to encounter extreme fear and decide to indefinitely cancel that most evil order. And the prayers of the great meritorious people who gathered to make those who thought evil of O1 lose to their own evil to the root of it, it was really true that by the time everyone knew the news, it was already mid-October 2016. But the merit of O1's children who came to guard the temple to protect O1 had increased even more because they were risking their lives to protect the leader of the suppression sector who still had a human body, which was O1. Even though O6 tried to plan to cut off O1's contact with the children outside through the DMC channel in December 2016. Even to the point of requesting the Prime Minister's authority to use Article 44 for the DS to search the temple to arrest O1, and even tried to close the temple to seize it, but ended up having to face the guarding of the temple by O1's children for 23 days. They had to retreat when the meritorious people came to visit and caused the temple's doors to be opened for the public to enter and exit to create merit once again. All of this was the result of the auction of subtle powers between the suppression sector of meritorious people, with O1 as the leader of the Dhammakaya meditation, fighting with the devil that sent power to drive the physical body of his servants since O6, and Dr. Manao and all collaborators at that time who used the power of money to hire them in. But they had to lose to the power of the merit of all the children and groups who came together to send power to O1 to handle and manage everything properly. But what happened to the children and group of O1 since 2019 and became more severe in 2023 when the golden black hair Dhammakaya Buddha image was built? Mangkorn O1 had to quickly provide information through the knowledgeable person to Kiangtawan to inform his children, hoping to tell Abbot Mu and O2 that the Dhammakaya Buddha image that they were inviting others to build did not belong to O1, and that its form was created in the style of the black sect Dhammakaya Buddha image of the devil. When they announced the invitation to build 2 statues at the same time and also invited them to build another at Wat Ban Kun. The signal from O1, Mangkorn, reflected the dream of the knowledgeable person that if the temple took the golden black hair Dhammakaya Buddha image like this to preside over any merit-making event, anywhere, it is equal to everyone who comes to make merit. When they bow down to the principal Buddha image, it is equivalent to abandoning all the merit they have in themselves, no matter how long they have accumulated, and immediately accepting the sinful stars to replace them in the center of everyone's body, because whenever in any merit-making event, the Dhammakaya of the Lord of the Mara is appointed as the principal, whether they know it or not, the truth will be like this, that is, the organizers have unanimously given the merit of that day to be the power of the Lord of the Mara, which is organizing the event for the sinful side. Those who come to accumulate merit at that event will abandon all their merit and take the sinful stars back instead. That is the day the meritful side is immediately defeated, because from what has been said before, the power of merit of the group that makes merit as the real O1 invites them to do will gain a great deal of merit, and it is the power of merit that returns to O1. As the power of merit for O1 to work in detail to subdue the Mara and correct the plan of the Lord of the Mara side to help protect humans from having to encounter any suffering, punishment, or disaster. But when the children of the group bow down to the principal Buddha image, which is the golden Dhammakaya with black hair, which is the Lord of the Mara side, the sinful ones, all the children of the group will unanimously abandon the merits that are densely packed in the center of their bodies, in great abundance and brightness, because they will unknowingly receive the sinful stars in that event. When the merits are discarded, the light of the enormous merit power in the middle of the children's bodies will be extinguished. There will not be that bright light of merit to the middle of the Dhammakaya of O1. There will not be enough light to see the diagram of the devil's side to collect, refine and correct it. Because if there were 10,000 of O1's children, and they just discarded all 10,000 merits, the power of 10,000 merits disappearing from the middle of O1's body is how much brightness is lost. But if everyone has not received the sinful stars, O1 will not lose to him. But because everyone abandoned their merits because they were going to intentionally receive the sinful stars because they did not know or see the details, not only did they discard the merits, they also received 10,000 sinful stars instead. It is equal to giving the devil's side the power of 10,000 black stars to arise immediately. while O1's power of merit that was brighter than 10,000 candle powers is assumed to have disappeared. So where will O1 get that much merit to make up for the 10,000 that were lost? In order to bid for the power of the devil like that, the children are still being deceived into believing that they will receive great merit by worshipping the Dharma O1 in various forms at various events on various occasions throughout 2566, 2567. At least there will be new great merits every 3 months, which has never been done to that extent before. By now, the followers who listen intently will probably know what really happened to O1's group in the past 2 years and what the results were for O1. That Kiangtawan received a signal to inform O1's children that O1 cried very hard since the beginning of project to associate Kathina Fund 30,000 temples throughout Thailand. Because since they started to join the training seminars in various places, everyone who had merit abandoned it since they got on the car to come to the seminar. And when they went out to do their duties, they spread the sins that they had with them with full power of delusion, because in the seminar, there was a saying that at the age of 80, they wanted a lot of merit, and the monk made everyone believe that it was O1's words. The hidden dragon is the real O1. He told Kiangtawan through the real person that the real O1 could not give orders because the big secretary blocked everything since the middle of 2018, and O1 left the temple since February 2, 2019. Therefore, the real O1 would never send any messages. Don't even mention the messages begging for merit because he is 80 years old. But in the seminar, the teacher monk believed it. So everyone believed it too. The defilement and delusion dominated the minds of everyone, both monks and laymen. Every person who came to the seminar, whether it was the abbot or any monk. The delusion that O1 wanted merit because he was 80 years old, which was not true at all, dominated everyone's minds tightly. As a result, the center of O1's body, which used to have merit from his children, was bright. Even though it was sometimes bright and sometimes dim, was still better than being completely dark and unable to see anything like that. This made O1 cry because he had symptoms like a blind person who could not see anything anymore. That is, he could not see the diagram of the demon side like before. That means that if the children still did not accept this truth, no one would be able to come back to accumulate merit alone. Because they would still go to commit sins on new projects. As if people were ignorant, the merits from the children who had previously shown into the center of Dhammakaya of O1, which had been used to correct the demon's diagram in the previous several years, suddenly weakened until the demon's diagram could not be seen. The shocking thing is that the prophecies that the astrologers saw the diagrams and predicted were all worse than last year. Last year, the year of the fire dragon, was already bad. This year is worse and will continue to be worse, especially the flood disasters. The floods will continue to flood until 2572, and will be extremely bad until 2575. This is a sign that reflects the truth that O1 has lost almost all the merits from the children and groups of O1 for many years until this year 2568. If this matter is not resolved and everyone is informed and the root cause is stopped immediately, which is to not make merit from the roots of sin, the prophecies of the astrologers will definitely come true. Both new diseases and the spread of old diseases that will occur, they used to disappear because of the merit of the people in the country. But now they have returned because the merits of the people in the country have dwindled, having disappeared from the hundreds of thousands of groups of O1 before and gone to other temples all over Thailand who invited to join in offering Thai Dharma for O1's 80th birthday, and this year, 2568, the temple will increase the number of temples to 40,000 temples on O1's 81st birthday. When all of this project was initiated on the basis of wanting a 70% share of the money to give to the higher being enough to satisfy The defilements that were promoted in the wrong way from the beginning will naturally grow and grow more and more. The amount needed will increase continuously because it has become a regular income that can be expected and trusted. If you want to increase the share, how much more will you do? You have to find a way to make more profit from trading from more products. The products have to be of higher quality and be the most popular. Take the popularity and increase the amount to the maximum, which is to complete every temple. Making merit with the Dhammakaya, just 2 Dhammakaya Buddha images in 2566 is enough. If you want to increase it by how many times more, you have to find a way to make merit with hundreds of thousands of Dhammakaya Buddha images. How much will you get? If you calculate, how much is worth doing? This is defilement that cannot be helped. The more the evil currents arise in the mind, the more the sin power will be sent to the sinful work. When that happens, all the temples in Thailand will abandon their merit, whether much or little, and abandon all their merit when they come to receive the offerings on One's 81st birthday, which is the act of receiving the sinful star instead. No monk team in the temple wants One's real identity to appear because the desire for a share dominates everyone's mind in the amount that will be shared for everyone to receive. At this point, does everyone see the possibility that it will actually happen as the astrologers predicted? It is because the merit of Buddhists in every temple in Thailand has been completely abandoned and the black sinful star has been received instead. It is predicted that after May 2025, prepare to receive bad luck, and it will be worse in August 2025. No one wants the predictions of those astrologers to come true, even Kiangtawan and especially Mangkorn 01. But what can 01 do? He cried until his tears flowed, but even if he cried until he ran out of tears, he could not fix anything at this time. Everything is like this. There is only Kiangtawan who will send the message to everyone because everything that will happen from now on depends on the merit of each of his children. It does not depend on 01 as some people think. It does not depend on 01's skill or expertise in Dhammakaya knowledge. It does not relate to Luang Pu Sad and Grandma Chan, but rather on the power of merit that will be like a huge battery of the white element of Dhamma that 01 had been trying to encourage his children to accumulate merit throughout his life before he was forced out of the temple in 2019. All of his children just agreed to abandon all of the hard-earned merit they had accumulated in the middle of 2024. In particular, 02 abandoned all of his merit since he brought 06 in as an advisor and successfully committed sin by himself when he did not close the case for 01 as he had promised 01. This was the first time 02 had intentionally committed sin, in which 02's enormous merit disappeared before anyone else and took away all of the bright merit of his children because he let everyone follow 06's project as previously mentioned. It is a pity that there is no new person among the children who are lost in the darkness because they went to the seminar and worked hard on the project to support Kathan at 30,000 temples throughout Thailand last year. They accept, listen, read, and believe the information that Kiangtawan tried to convey as the knowledgeable person said it came from Mangkorn 01. At this time, they have reviewed all the knowledge and compiled it into complete information. It is time to help each other to reveal or pass on all this knowledge to the virtuous children of 01 so that they will know as much as possible, as soon as possible, so that everyone can wake up from their delusions, gain awareness, and truly understand the truth. In order not to let the center of everyone's body alternately abandon the merit and accept the sin, and abandon the sin and accept the merit. Accept only the merit to make the merit grow bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter, then there will be power and authority that will result in the overall power, which is the merit power for 01 to use to fight against the demon side again. And the results of the merit will come back to inspire everyone to be happy and successful in everything they truly desire. especially the merit of welcoming the Dhammayatra in January of every year. No one can take this merit away from O1, and it is a great merit due to Luang Pu Sad, the conqueror of the demon directly. That O1 has been gratefully worshipping and making the path of the 7 memorial sites of Luang Pu Sad since 2012, the first year. To welcome the monk with beautiful and fragrant rose petals to create a path of life in the next life that will have a smooth path like the path is strewn with rose petals. And followed by the second year, 2013, to scatter with marigold petals. And then in the third year, 2014, which was also sprinkled with marigold petals for all 3 years. Kiangtawan and her partner have been welcoming the wandering monks every day continuously since the first year and have welcomed from the first monk to the last monk. A total of 1,127 monks in the first year, 1,128 monks in the second year, and 1,129 monks in the third year. Every time, we set up a camera and recorded videos of all the events of every round every day for at least 3 years. And later, until the year of COVID-19, we did not go to welcome them but instead watched the temple's TV channel. The merit of welcoming the Dhammayatra, which we would like to call the Dhammakaya pilgrimage of O1, the gratitude to worship the conqueror of Mara, is a real merit. Net merit that no matter how many times we think about it, we are delighted every time and new merits arise every time as well. It is the best way to bring back the large, clean, clear, bright white merit to the center of the body, the 7th base of everyone. If you can't think of any merit, you have to start with the merit of welcoming the Dhammakaya pilgrimage every year. That is the ultimate way to add merit that has immeasurable power. For those who have listened to this point, you know that you have been lost and sinned all along. Let's start by reviewing the old merits that you have made with Luang Pu 1 since the beginning as much as possible. Recover the merit by reviewing the merit. I assure you that you will get enough merit back to get back on the last express train to the ultimate Dharma. If you do not accidentally take the sins that the temple invited you to. Because it will be like throwing away the merit that you have tried to review and reclaim, to go back to receive the sin again. How long will you disappear and reappear? We have to be very careful and use our wisdom. Because death has no signs. It will come to snatch the heart of sin, causing us not to have time to review the merit. Not to have time to reclaim the merit, being captured by the devil and removed from the body when we are heartless. Where will we go after death? Let's share all the merit that we have made with our friends. Satu, Satu, Satu. When will everyone realize this? Don't wait until your life is almost over to know this. And when will you know that there is no merit left in the middle of your body? There is only sin at the center of the body waiting to cause suffering, sorrow, and illness. When will you know that you have not followed the ultimate Dharma and there is no merit left to go back and rest in the middle of the way at Dusit heaven? Will you still have merit to support yourself to reach the bright light or the Lord Buddha before you die? You have to realize that you are stuck in delusion first. In order to get out of the delusion that is the black sinful star, in order to reflect on the merits that have been made in the past, especially in the era when O1 invited you to do it yourself. Before 2016, everyone, in order to be sure that there is only true merit that has been reflected back to your own heart, and practicing Dhamma with delight in those merits will create at least a pure, bright merit orb at the center of your body before your last breath, in order to be saved, to return to the Dusipuri heaven, a resting place, to start anew in the next life, everyone. We hope that we have communicated in accordance with the intention of Luang Pu 1 Mangkorn Sangkai, and that the listeners and readers will understand each other correctly according to all of this truth, to get out of the delusion and return to the path of creating merit. Following the great revered teachers, Luang Pu Sad, Grandma Chan, and Luang Por Dhammajayo, to the ultimate Dhamma, without being separated from each other forever. Satu, Satu, Satu. Postscript, P.S. From the prophecies of many astrologers. It is known that the efforts of Mangkorn, one who let Kiangtawan tell his children both the outer region that is still in delusion to realize the truth in order to be free from delusion. Return to the truth and everyone's heart will return to the side of merit, as a bright white orb once again. For many years from 2018 to this year, 2025, it has been 7 years. It has not been forwarded, not received into the heart because each person has their own karma that makes it unstoppable, unable to lead everyone out of delusion. And one must certainly lose the great merit of this group. Because if the result of trying to tell and communicate from Kiangtawan is enough, it will allow one, Mangkorn, to receive the merit from this group back to work in detail, correcting the disaster plan from the devil. The tendency of the stars that cause all the astrologers to predict will not go in the same direction like this. That is, the disasters will be more severe than last year. And especially the floods. The floods will become more severe and the heaviest in 2029 to 2032, including the emergence of both new and old epidemics. According to the knowledge of the law of karma that one taught when he was a young teacher. The karma that causes the floods, it comes from humans who have broken the 3 precepts related to water. The 3rd precept means having a lot of lust, a lot of semen. The 4th precept means telling lies, speaking sarcastically, speaking harshly, speaking nonsense, a lot of saliva. The 5th precept means drinking a lot of alcohol and drugs, a lot of intoxication. In today's society, there is only media that supports breaking these 3 precepts easily and widely. If humans do not go to the temple to listen to the Dhamma, do not have knowledge about precepts and the law of karma, there will be nothing to hold their minds to be aware of and restrain themselves from breaking these 3 precepts. Creating a social fashion environment. Artists and celebrities to see until they are accustomed to it, see until they are familiar with the sexuality that comes from exposing the body of women. Just standing still is not a problem. But the current social trend supports and promotes the popularity of singing. Dancing with provocative gestures using the female body and wearing tight clothes that emphasize the figure in the parts that should be covered. To the point that it becomes familiar and becomes accustomed to the parts that should be covered tightly but are instead exposed or tightened to emphasize the figure as if they are naked. This kind of event causes sexual stimulation for people of the opposite sex even though it is unintentional. It may just be for the sake of being modern, to fit into a society with wrong values. But it becomes a devaluation of good women who should cover their private parts to be polite in society. The more society emphasizes beautiful appearance, even if they are not beautiful. They have undergone plastic surgery. If they are beautiful, they cannot help but show it. Therefore, there is a situation where people dress up as if they are doing it to seduce sexual desire, which is easily seen and can be zoomed in to see in depth and detail. You can watch it as many times as you want, no one will know. But the heart of the viewer knows very well how much it affects the lust that simmers in the body and whether it is happy or suffering to the point that they have to find a way to release it with. Anyone, anywhere. You can watch it on the media and various clips without having to spend money to buy it. To see women wearing little clothes, wearing thin clothes in a secluded place, such as a brothel or brothel like in ancient times. The values that make women accept living together before marriage and having sex regardless of gender, location, or career. Regardless of whether someone already has a husband or wife or not. Women rise up to act modern, being able to have multiple relationships. Sleeping with more than one man if they like or have the right to choose, has become adultery naturally, but not tied to any one person, thinking that it is like playing a sport. There shouldn't be anything. Both parties have emotions. When they have relieved each other, they turn away from each other. But the law of karma does not see it that way. Even though the era has changed the value of thinking on this matter, not tied to any one person, but the law of karma has never changed with the era. Committing sexual abuse once with a forbidden person, meaning someone who has an owner, is a violation of the third precept. No matter how many times, it is tied to the center of the body. It does not disappear anywhere, even if it is just released because the emotions take over after being stimulated by alcoholic beverages, the temptation of bright lights, sounds, and various media. And then both go to meet other people. If it really ends, and you meet someone new, and do not meet again or do it again, it is not a violation of the third precept. But if you meet someone new, after having each other, if one day you meet someone you have passed through, you will immediately break the third precept against the new person you have just agreed to. Even if the old person you met claims the right to be there first, the person who came later does not have that right if both of you have someone new or one of you has someone new. Whether you know it or not, the law of karma records everything. It will affect you after you die. Importantly, if you have a beautiful relationship, you will be connected. Even if you just think about it in the beginning, you will always leave that connection that will attract you back to each other again. This is the reason why people in ancient times, the generation of your parents and grandparents, considered sex a special and important matter. They wanted women to be modest and conceal their forbidden things because it would affect the opposite sex, whether they intentionally revealed it or not. They would reveal it only at important times with the right person. And why do men have to ordain as monks to repay their parents' kindness before getting married? It is to have the opportunity to train themselves to endure hunger and practice asceticism, to know the word controlling the ego, and not be greedy for sex. To the point of not wanting any woman except their own wife. They will know what to do so that they will not make mistakes if they meet a woman who tempts them because they are not aware of it. Or lost consciousness because of drinking alcohol or by karma causing him to do that to himself. Then how should he restrain his mind and body to not break the third precept that comes to him for free? Etc. Ordination as a monk will be an option in a man's mind only when he grew up in a family that is a true Buddhist. Parents go to the temple or listen to the Dharma to make merit as usual. Have the 5 precepts and take their children to observe the 5 precepts to the temple to listen to the Dharma as well. In the 75-year life cycle, counting back from today, I have seen only the Dhammakaya temple led by Luang that has made history by ordaining monks for free throughout Thailand for hundreds of thousands of Thai men. Counting together every generation since 2009, 2 generations per year until now, more than 16 years. But before Luang or 01, Mangkorn could implement the free ordination project throughout Thailand, he built the temple since 1970. That means there must have been sermons and training for Dharma heirs for more than 40 years before there would be Thai men who were open to being invited to ordain and willingly ordain to repay the kindness of their parents first, even before they had a boyfriend or were married, or still in school age. They will study the Dharma to put into practice and be a shield to protect themselves from committing any of the 5 precepts since before they have any role in society, and it will become a habit until one day they grow up to be important people who have an impact on the country and the country. They will be good leaders who are good role models for society. All of these come together, but now the era is the decline of Buddhism. The decline has come even to the monks in the Dhammakaya temple. The uncontrollable defilements of some people, meeting people who are not true Buddhists and have wrong views like 06 and still associating with them even though the 38 auspicious things in life have been taught. Especially with O2, who has been teaching them for many years, it is like dust in their own eyes, causing them to make the wrong steps today even though it is the end of their life when death is approaching. The finish line that is just within reach because they have built up merit and done good deeds throughout their lives. They have not missed out at all. He made a mistake again when he was in his 80s. Still on a 2-cam boat, but it was clear that he was willing to stand in water that was half submerged at the age of 84. If he had lived as long as the average human lifespan of 75 years, he would have returned to Dusapiri gracefully and been on the last express train with the great teacher or O1, Mangkorn. Most importantly, most of O1's children, almost 100%, would not have been wronged by O2, who did not completely cut off associating with a bad person like O6, but instead let him lead O1's children to commit the sin that O6 claimed to do for survival when O1 was not around. The fact that O6 led the group of O1 under the permission of O2, so they did what they are doing today, which has been done for many years since O1 left the temple on February 2, 2019. Until almost all of the group abandoned their merit to take the sin from O6's plan until today. There is almost no merit left that they have worked hard to accumulate together since the time O1 invited them to do it, which was difficult to do but gained a huge amount of merit over the years before this. Most of them abandoned the merit that was sufficient to reach the highest level of Dhamma and went without knowing anything, not knowing that in fact, the children of this group had the power of merit and merit ready since 2016, before O1's birthday. After O1's birthday, the devil sent weak people to persecute with criminal cases to the fullest extent until he had to flee for many years. But at first, O1 had hoped that the case would be closed and he would be free to meet his children again in the year O1 turned 80. As Kiangtawan heard O1 say in the studio of O1's dream in Dream Widya kindergarten many times that his children admired him for being handsome. Let's wait and see him when he is 80 years old and not say anything more. Leave it for yourself to think that he will say that even though he is handsome now, let's see him when he is 80 years old. He will be much more handsome. Or will he really be handsome? Something like that. And it shows that O1 saw into the future that he was charged with a criminal case and had to escape the arrest warrant, but he would be free when he was 80 years old. And he chose to trust O2 very much, believing because O2 had firmly promised O1. But when the time really came, O2 had to fall off the horse because he could teach everyone in the world but did not teach himself. The first auspicious thing in life is not to associate with bad people, which is the Dharma of the Lord Buddha that O2 had been teaching his disciples in the temple and outside the temple by himself for many years before the age of 75. All that has been described tells us to think about the truth that O1's group of children has created a significant impact on this world. Throughout the age that O1 was ordained as a monk and followed his children and group to build temples and build merit in this life. The life of being ordained as a monk at the age of 25 until the year of being charged with a criminal case at the age of 72 is 47 years of hard work that has impacted morality, restored morality to the world society, awakened the consciousness of being a good person with the 5 precepts to the hearts of the good V-Star children since 2007. The little boys and girls were around 5 years old in the first year. Now, in this year, 2025, it has been 13 years and they will be in their reproductive teens. Whether the V-Star stars will hold their minds strong in doing good deeds and prevent themselves from breaking the 5 precepts, we will have to see how much or how little. But it is a hope like a new wave that will replace the group that is gradually leaving without any merit left, even though they have been accumulating merit throughout their lives. Just making a mistake by getting on the express train and getting off without realizing it before they realize it. They have already gotten on another train that will take them to hell and never be reborn as a large group like that. No father can endure it, even though he knows that he cannot help much. He does not feel any shame because he has tried his best to help his children escape from delusion as much as he can. All that remains is for friends to know about this story and make merit as the greatest of good friends, diligently performing their duty of giving information to the group of friends who are close to them to build merit. Whether they accept it or not, believe it or not, it is their business. But we have performed our duty, so we have received our merit. I would like to ask you to think like this, and it will be a great merit that will stay with us until the end of the Dhamma. Those who truly know also have 2 to 3 dreams that indicate that from now on, Wat Phra Dhammakaya will become a tool for making a living for friends of other religions without realizing it. If you ask if people of other religions do not come to the temple, how can we take care of them? I would like to ask you to think that the news of the higher-ups in the Kumari is that they are Muslims, right? The answer is no. But they are unintentionally like they are drowning and encounter a branch that they can cling to. But it turns out that it has become a vine that twists and turns. Once it is tied, it cannot be untied. Don't you think, why do we have to share 70%? And what will we do with this donated money? Who will we give it to? The same answer that 01 asked 06 in 2015. And 06 refused to answer. 01 caused 06 to be chased out of the temple and not allowed to return. 06 would be so naive that she really didn't know that when 01 asked back then. 01 really didn't know where he took the money, who he gave it to, or what he did with it. If he thought that he would keep his mouth shut, 01 would never know. That would be the ultimate naivete. He still thought he was smarter than 01. Why was it that when he offered 01 before, he was rejected almost every time? They thought that 01 was old or didn't have a doctorate. So he couldn't think as fast as himself, didn't know as much as himself, and so didn't accept the things he offered. And this led to 06 being the backup for 02. Doing everything every day, leading the group away from the path of merit to the path of sin gracefully without even realizing it. This is what's called being smart. If 01 knew all the way from the center of 06's body to the starting point and the destination, he had seen everything in just a flash of his sixth sense in the eye of Dhamma, less than a minute. But 01 intentionally asked to give 06 a chance to ask if he would answer, if he would lie, if he was sincere, if he cared, if he respected 01. That question would immediately measure all of these values. From the answer or not, if 06 answers, if the answer is direct but it is a sin, 01 will be merciful and give advice for correction. If the answer is a lie, 01 will know why he lied. What is the burden that forced 06 to sin by lying to 01 at that time? Then he will help 06 to escape the bondage and teach the result of sin so that 06 will know the penalty for lying to 01. What will it be? That will make 06 not do that to anyone again, not just to 01. But the fact that 06 chose not to answer is clearly showing that he does not want to acknowledge his own wrongdoing and has decided in his heart that whatever he is doing is definitely not wrong. He will not accept any teaching because he knows that whatever he does is not pleasing to 01 anyway. Why waste saliva on answering? Or why waste brainpower on lying? Choose to remain silent. It is the measure of being a disciple with a teacher. That they can't be together anymore and 01 is the one who takes care of the entire group. It's necessary to chase 06, who didn't listen to 01, far away, so that he won't stay and cause any damage in the future. Because 06 didn't open his mouth to say anything, it meant he wouldn't listen to the verdict that what he did was wrong. Since he didn't admit his mistake, if he was allowed to stay, 06 would always do it again. Because it wasn't wrong, but the fact that 02 intervened to act like a hero. wanting to show off his ability that he thought was better than O1's, and looking at someone like O6 and thinking that O2 was capable enough to handle someone like O6. This just became clear when I heard O2's secretary live on O2's birthday telling a story about O2. There was a sentence that said that O2 had prayed to the principal Buddha image or to the statue of Luang who saw it at Wat Paknam. I don't remember clearly, but the prayer was something like asking for O2 to be able to tame and teach people who are hard to teach and no one can take care of, for O2 to keep people like that, to change their minds to be good people, and to pray in my heart. But Grandma Chan walked over. With her sixth sense, Grandma heard the prayer and walked over. I can't remember if she grabbed his shoulder or not, but she said, "Are you really going to do that? Are you going to do that?" And then she listened to a monk from the center in Cambodia tell a story at the Dream in Dream kindergarten about O2's kindness in supporting the establishment of the center. In Cambodia, he said that O2's mother was of Cambodian descent, and there were many other descents that the monk told about, but we can't remember. And it made O2 want to repay the kindness of the land of Cambodia that gave birth to his mother, who made O2 who he is today, so he supported her in various matters. There were two things that Kiangtawan, who listened to the story, lingered in her mind. 1. Oh, because O2 prayed like that day, so she had to test O6 like this, right? 2. Oh, because O2 also has Cambodian descent through his mother, so he was a person who kept coming and going, unreliable. This made O2 become someone who could not be trusted or trusted because of these two reasons. Because if you trust, you'll be disappointed for sure. Like when O1 trusted O2 and entrusted O1's criminal case with O2 as he promised to help manage until the case was closed for O1 himself, not letting anyone else do it to distort or harass O1. But then the time came, October 2023 to April 2024, because O2 just trusted and kept associating with O6, who is likely to be considered a difficult person to teach. The type of person that O2 prayed for and whose grandmother heard and greeted. This shows that O2 thought that he had already shown his skill in subduing O6 and had O6 under his control. He was presentable, respectful, polite and kind in front of everyone. He trusted him so much that even when there was an important matter related to O1, he had to consult with O6. This shows that he trusted O6 completely. There was no need to wonder why, because it was like overlooking every truth, just to see O6 come and humbly bow at O2's feet. This can be called this life. Die with your eyes closed, something like that. Therefore, even the most important matter for the freedom of O1 for the rest of his life, which was the most respected and beloved of O2, was brought up to consult with a villain who could be called the enemy of O1 from the beginning. When O6 suggested something, would everyone see the same picture like this? That is, O2 is in the middle. Above his head is O1, a teacher, a benefactor who is more than a father, and below at his feet is O6, a disciple, who is like a beloved son. But this son, resentful of O1 who is like a grandfather to his father like O2, thinks what O6 will advise. Then will O2 believe and do as O6 advises? The answer is yes. O2 just follows what O6 says because he believes that it is the most important result of his life. O2 is the one who raised, preached, trained, taught and nurtured a person with a doctorate level, which is hard to find, to serve Buddhism in a great way for O2 as we see today. It reflects that O6 is the greatest pride in O2's life and is in O2's eyes to the point that he might think that the future of Wat Phra Dhammakaya and its branches around the world must be entrusted to this son because there is no one else who is as good as him. Therefore, whatever he advises, he must believe first so that he is confident and can take the next step instead of himself. As for O1, if looking from O2's perspective, he might think like a child looking at an elderly parent, what should be appropriate to do. Help him out, it will be tiring again, so don't let him out, so he won't have to be tired again. The child will handle everything himself. Therefore, don't find a way to close the case for your father. It's a waste of money and time. Father can sit with his eyes closed and practice the knowledge that he has dreamed of all his life. O6 will help O2 take care of the temple and the group for Father O1 himself. This advice must have come from O6 himself. O1 told through a dream of a person who truly knows to know that the temple is not damaged, not destroyed, and is also modern in many ways. Following the era that keeps up with the world until the next era. It is just that the temple's property does not belong to Buddhists. But he allows Buddhists to use the temple to do religious work to earn money to support them. The temple people still come to the temple, have a place to eat and live, and do merit until their lives are over, until their children and grandchildren. They use the plan that O6 secretly inserted through O2 in the temple's executive committee. But the goal is to get a 70% share to the higher up, which will be used to support friends of other religions to live comfortably and not invade Buddhist temples and Buddhism under an agreement. If today O2 does not know the problem, does not know these truths, that O1 used the method of the hidden dragon to tell to this extent, it would have ended like this. This group that has only black sinful stars in the middle of the body, where will they go after death? Not heaven but not hell either. Back to the dark, cold side of the third realm. Everyone was in a bag with water up to their heads. They were human but the size of mice, sitting with their hands covering their ears, their noses plugged with white paint, their eyes tightly shut. They were left piled up on the side of the third realm, piled up as high as their knees, filling an area as wide as a classroom. And O1 had to permanently lose the power of great merit from this group. The result was that the astrologers who predicted bad things would be accurate in every matter because O1 couldn't fix anything, and everyone would not see O1 again.